Congratulations on the show.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, this thing is really going. It's caught on.
I know. It's amazing how a year ago, or a year and 3 months ago, when we premiered the first one, we were still explaining the concept of binge watching a little bit, or people were going, "Oh, Netflix? Is it like YouTube, or it's a series,
doing a web show,
it can be online, but we have to go on the internet to watch it." And now everyone's like, "Oh my God, the new series on Netflix! Like, we love it." Everyone
you work with Netflix. Okay, I have this show. Can you just
can you get me meeting at Netflix? I can't get in the room with them. And it's great because the fans really gave us a chance, and they invested in the mythology, and not just fans in the U.S. but fans globally. It's really like we always looked at Hemlock like we were making a movie, like a long form movie, like in this case it's a 10-hour movie, and fans really invested in us, and we wanted to write. We could look back at season 1 and go, okay, we tried this didn't quite work, this worked really well, we love this, and we brought in Chick Egley, who had worked with James Cameron on Dark Angel, amazing writer, and we have, obviously Famke. Now that we weren't following the book, we thought season 2 we can make it better, smarter, scarier, really reward the people that invested in the first season.
Well, when you first got involved, for both of you in your specific roles as producer and as an actress, I mean, how did you feel about the Netflix thing? It's a little bit more of a done deal now, I think, if you're pitching a show for Netflix, where a year or two ago,
we were the first,
but at least House of Cards, that we could say, Netflix has done House of Cards, doing House of Cards right now and then the whole list of filmmakers, actors, and that was a much easier way to come into it and not feel like,
but that's all changed.
It's weird to say this. Yeah. When we had the show, Netflix was actually pitching me. They came to me and they said, "We have a show with David Fincher, we have one with Jenji Cohen, and we'd like to do a show with you. Do you have anything?" I was like, "Well, little old me." So they had a metric to see whose movies indexed and how many people rented their films and who were streaming them, and my films rented very well on Netflix. So they said we wanted to do a scary something in the horror space, and it was just perfect timing that we'd read Eric Newman had brought me Brian McGreevy's book Hemlock Grove, and we brought it to Netflix, and they said this will be our third show. It was they said, we're going to let you go as far as you want with the violence, the sex, and we're going to do all 13 episodes at once. There's no commercial breaks, there's no recap, and it was so exciting, and we wanted to be at the forefront of something new and different. And Famke came on board, and we come from the film world. She's a she just directed her first movie, so we love the idea that you watch the show and then it immediately ties into our filmography.
Right.
And he had me at Twin Peaks, because when they pitched it to
me
over the phone, yes, Twin Peaks was mentioned. And I have, with the exception of Twin Peaks, no history of watching television. I've never owned a television. It's just never been part of my background. I grew up in Holland when there were 2 channels. You know what I mean? It was just not something I did. So Twin Peaks is so vivid to me because it seemed so groundbreaking at the time. I thought it was spectacular, in terms of just the way it looked and how out there it was, and it just felt like I was in a Dali painting or something like that.
So this was Eli Roth's version of Twin Peaks. That's what got you interested.
Twin Peaks. He said that's basically what we're doing.
I mean, obviously the goal isn't to recreate Twin
No,
Peaks.
right.
I remember the excitement when David Lynch, oh my God, the guy who made Blue Velvet, is going to do a television series. And I wanted to people have been asking me since Hostel to do a horror series, but I'd never found the material. And now the medium has caught up with horror. What we are seeing now is it's the golden age of television horror. You have Ryan Murphy with American Horror Story and The Walking Dead, and there's so many great shows, and they're all different, and they're smart, and they're violent, and they're for adults, and they're creative. And we wanted to do something that almost had the touch of a Douglas Sirk melodrama, that we want people, it's not just about the scares, we want people caught up in the story and in the world. And I loved Twin Peaks, where it was just slightly to the right of reality, and you could just tune in and escape. And we went, Drew Boughton, our production designer, our DP, Fernando Arguillas, and Stephen Poster, who shot the pilot with me, we wanted everything to have a real, bold, beautiful cinematic look, anchored by an amazing actor with Famke and Dougray Scott and Ellen Landon.
Well, and now that you're through season 1, that's aired, season 2, you've shot, it's about to air. How did you both, because as you mentioned, predominantly your careers have been in film, making films and making and starring in films. How do you feel about the TV process, the process that you've been through as a producer and as an actress? I know you've done TV stuff before, but
not much. But
not much, and being the lead of a show like this.
I've been offered television in the past, and I've mostly turned it down because I grew up watching movies. I've been a big fan of film, and it never seemed to suit me exactly in the way that I thought I had envisioned my career as an actor. And then when this came about, it just felt right because it was neither television nor film. It lived somewhere in a universe in between. It's its own thing, and it's not definable, but because it's closer to a 10-hour movie than it is to a traditional television show, we don't have to live by the same rules. We don't need to have a cliffhanger. We don't need to have a murder at in every episode or solve one. So it's just different. It's much more creative. It's much more interesting, and audiences are so incredibly sophisticated these days that, and Netflix is very aware of that, so that they really started tailor-making these shows that, to a level where people just were, blown away by the high quality of everybody involved.
And I love it. I mean, it's been nice for me because everything I've done has been reality-based. Even from The Green Inferno, it's still a horror movie, but it's in the reality world of humans doing this. And it's nice to do something that's a little more supernatural and to play in that world. And I feel like I've gotten a whole new fan base of people that maybe didn't like my other films but like this one particular thing. And that's, as a creator, as a writer, as a director, you always want to push the boundaries and try something new and try not to repeat yourself but do what you love. And with Netflix, I remember with season 1 I said, okay, I want to have, well, if we're going to make a show, like, let's be honest here, if there's a guy who's in high school who's bored out of his mind and rich and drugs don't even affect him, he can hypnotize anyone. If he's getting cravings for blood, when the hot cheerleader goes to the bathroom to change a tampon, he's going to go follow her and hypnotize her and go down on her. Netflix was like, great. And I thought, okay, that's pretty sick. So then in season 2, I was like, all right, well, what if we brought in Chick Egley, and I remember saying, like, I want to see what happens if you, first we want to see the reformation, but what happens if you can transform, and you transform in the full moon, there's a biological process happening there. What if, like with birth control, you're tricking your body? What if you could find a way to force yourself to transform not on a full moon? And it's like doing some very dangerous drug. Like it's like you're on meth or heroin or something that's something that's very risky for your body, that you can do it, but you're not going to come out of it okay. And if you do it too much, it could really kill you. That was something that I had. And what if we're watching Peter do it? And then he's like, yeah, what if he's doing it? I'm like, what if he's doing it to make someone think they're hallucinating? He's like, yeah, he's doing it to sell them fake drugs. It's a grift. We're like, oh, this is great. Like, we've never seen someone use lycanthropy as a fake drug deal. And that's what we do in the first episode. So we like that kind of lateral thinking. And Netflix was like, oh, that's awesome. That's what we want. That's Hemlock Grove. It's the family dynamics, it's the stories, but it's taking things in a strange direction that they've never been done before, and they really let us go as dark and strange as we want.
That's amazing. Famke, what's it been like for you playing this great character of Olivia Godfrey? And also, as Eli mentioned, we spoke when Bringing Up Bobby came out.
Yeah.
Has your acting approach changed since directing a film?
It really has, but not always for the better.
In what way?
Well, just because I was so aware on Bring Up Bobby, because I didn't only write and direct it, but also produced it, that the concept of time is money. If I don't get this scene, I may have to cut it, I have to restructure my script. So, and one of the things you can wait for a lot is actors in, makeup trailer or whatever. Things can be held up, and so I was hyper aware of that. And the first thing that I went back to, ironically, after that was Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters in prosthetic makeup for 4 hours. And just the idea every day of, oh my God, I'm holding up this entire production. My tongue is not, perfectly red, or my face is not glued together, or whatever these things were. And that has stayed with me ever since. I'm filming at the moment, I'm acting in this little independent film called Jack of the Red Hearts. And, it's a 20-something day shoot, 22-day shoot or whatever. So really, and, there's constant struggles of time and money. And so instead of me thinking it through as an actor of, I need another take, I think, no, I should not ask for another take because we're really running out of time. And I know that we didn't make this before lunch, so that really means we're this far behind schedule. I'm just in the wrong headspace part of the time. You know, and it's interesting. It was a great lesson, and I think that every actor should direct and every director should act, and filmmaking would go a lot more smoothly. But it really would.
For sure, no. And Glorious Bastards changed the way I direct.
Yeah.
Being the other side of it completely.
Yeah.
You have to. You have to do all sides of it to fully understand something. But it was nice to direct Green Inferno and even Hemlock Grove, having been through the acting process and understanding the psychology of an actor and becoming an actor's director in a way I never could have before, because I got the questions they were asking because it was all the same questions that I had when I was in the scene.
Yeah. And playing Olivia, I mean, did you recognize when you read this material, like, oh, this is a fantastic part for me to really sink my teeth into?
I initially I had the first script, and then thankfully I had the novel to go by to have a broader sense of what this world was, who this woman was, and where you could potentially take it, or I could have potentially taken it. But the thing about doing a series is that you're never really sure where it's going. Not just me as an actor signing up for it, but also the filmmakers, the writers are, and that's the great collaboration or the collaborative effort about it all, is that people get inspired by one another. And so in season 2, we started acting, or had a specific, first couple of episodes, and from that, the writing team got inspired and thought, oh wow, I didn't realize he or she could do that thing, then maybe we're going to write this. And so even though it's broadly mapped out, it's still, it's an art form where you really can collaborate and influence one another.
Yeah. I got to wrap it up, but last thing I'll just ask you, Eli, is just if you could speak to fans to get them psyched to see season 2 this week when it premieres, I mean, what would you say? What can they expect from this next season?
I mean, we tried to up the ante on every level. In the writing, from the storytelling, we tightened it to 10 episodes so that every episode would have events and stories and twists. And just when you think that we've come up with all the strangest, weirdest shit you can imagine, you can't believe what we have in store in season 2. Awesome. It's really fun. It's better on every level.
Awesome. I can't wait to watch the whole thing. And you guys are great to talk to. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Yeah, absolutely.